Hello, everyone. I am Magdala Ramirez, and I come from the Maya Mexica tradition. And I'm very, very happy to be with you today because we have here also Christine that we are preparing for this beautiful journey. And the messages and the teachings last night, it was very beautiful because everything has to do about freedom. What is that freedom? What do you think about this freedom? And when we think about this freedom and what you learn about it, it is very much about how much you know yourself and what is it deep inside of you. So you have in yourself that original creator, the daughter and the son of the creator. And then you have all that mediocrity mind that the system wants to impose on you. And I want the people to remember something very powerful. Yes, there is the Son of God. And the Son of God is the one that it is able to stand up in the truth and hold on into their truth, no matter what. That original creator, the one who is able to manifest. But that power of that Son of God, it does come from the daughter of God. Because she lives in that entrega. She's the one that is enlightening the mind. Very much the divine feminine, it is truly holding hands with that divine masculine within yourself. And it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Or, yeah, this always tell me and ask me about it. Or sexual preferences has nothing to do with it. It has to do with a force within your own self, the source of everything. So when we think about what happens and where it is your freedom, we really need to tap into that original creator, the one that it doesn't matter what the system tells them. It doesn't matter what it is in their families or whatever that is. When I think about this, it's very, very powerful to see that here comes the Christ. And guess what? He was against the system. He was bringing a whole new perception of reality. When I think about the Buddha, oh my gosh, Siddhartha Gautama, that was his name. And he was completely doing his own thing in his connection with the one that created him. And when you think about it, he broke all these rules from his parents, from religion, from tradition, because he needed to find his own way and recognizing that the path is absolutely so unique and that your connection, it is only you the one can do it. And it has nothing to do with any religion or tradition. And of course, here comes the different religions everywhere in the world. Instead of observing where this is coming from, how that happens, you have women that they were able to say, no, I don't think so, not today. And that they create such a beautiful new understanding because they decide to not to follow a mediocrity mind that dictates them, that show them. When we think about where this mediocrity mind comes from, it comes from that system that wants to tell you what to think, that wants to tell you how to behave, and tell you that if you don't follow the rules, you're going to be in pain, that you're going to have some consequences about saying no to the system. There are different rules if you grew up as a woman. because then you have all these things about you need to follow the rules, the male way, until somebody says no. Thinking about Magdala. I mean, if you think about how powerful it is, what she did, and how she was that perfect mirror about the Christ, the feminine Christ, and how it was all this reaction, and it still is, 2,000 years later. When you think about Rosa Parks, the one that goes into that bus and said, not today. And it creates all these situations because she didn't follow the rules that it was imposed on her. When you think about so many women, think about Laoma. Oh my gosh, I love that woman. Think about so many women that they decided to say, no, I am the original creator and I'm gonna do whatever it is in my heart, not because I will accept the system. I won't accept what they tell me that I'm supposed to be doing or thinking. So much it has been in this planet about the mediocrity mind. So, Christine, what are you feeling, my sister?
Thank you for including me in the radio talk, Ma. Yeah, I think what we were talking about, liberation, and these beautiful examples of these women that we were just mentioning is such an example to everyone that number one, it does take courage. It's so much easier just to follow, but then where do you get? Nowhere. So for within yourself, you know what your own heart says. You know what the right things are. You recognize truth. That is the beauty too. We recognize truth. Now what you do with that is the individual's challenge. And especially as a woman, because like you said, there's so many more constraints and rules because they know how powerful the woman is. And they don't want that because you could shake it up to the point where it's going to change everything and whoa, we can't have that. So, you mentioned something earlier about those consequences, the things that are so outside of the mediocrity of the world and the mind and the systems that create these waves of this is what it's going to do, but you have to stand up and be able to do that within yourself. And it does take bravery and courage in the little world and then into the bigger world too, because what we do affects everything, everything.
And yes, I mean, we are in this year that it has to do everything about the awakening of the woman aspect. For a long time, the divine feminine has been in the air, but people not really comprehending what this means. And still people referring everything about the outside world instead of that inside world, instead of the source that you have within yourself. We were talking yesterday in the school about you have this incredible ability to recognize truth in your heart. Yet there is all these impediments to live in that truth, to walk your talk, so to speak. You think that you know, okay, how do you apply it in your life? And there are consequences, of course. And you're going to create all kinds of waves and movements. And starting with your family. What is the things that you think that you know? And then how do you truly apply it in your life? Because that is the enlightenment of your mind. Mind is beautiful, so beautiful. Just people need to know how to use it in a good way. How to think, how to control your thoughts, what belongs to the system, and what belongs to that divinity within yourself, because you do have that gene. What is it that you are able to create something, such a difference, through that connection that you have always been? When you go to school, especially in the United States, I saw that one so much, and there was so many fights with going back into the school because the girls get in troubles every time that they say, why you want me to follow a mediocrity mind when I have my mind for my own? My gosh, they were teenagers and sometimes child. You know, yeah, my youngest one, she was just a child, and saying, I am not going to follow that. I want to have my own way of thinking instead of you telling me what to think. So it has been a big deal all the time working with the people saying, what do you think? Don't accept anything from dogma. What do you truly think? And people trying to rewire their brain, in even thinking, what do I think for real? What do you think? Because they were trained to think whatever the neighbor thinks that doesn't think. Because it's thinking the way the other neighbor thinks that doesn't think. I mean, it's a thing.
It's a thing, yeah.
And then people being so afraid about what other people will think that doesn't think. Everyone needs to follow the system. Otherwise, you're being punished by being the authentic creator. And that's what it is needed nowadays.
Yes.
Awakening that part and how it works. What do you think, Christine, about that one?
Yes. Yeah, so that's really the point of all of this is like when you and your girls are a good example of that, when they say, don't tell me what to think, I can think for myself,
Mm-hmm.
not how you want me to go, but how I need to go. And what that's going to mean doesn't is, you're writing your own story here, and how you do that, how unique we are, is going to dictate how we do that, how we walk in this life. To even know this, what we're bringing here, it is constantly bringing forward, is such powerful information. You put that application in your world, of course, you recognize truth. That's the beauty of it. But what you do with that and how you put that out there is the difference, because you can carry the truth with you forever, but it's not going to change anything until you make those changes, until you look within yourself and find those places where you're still being dictated to, you're still following. And sometimes it's hard to see it all, but the more that we talk, the more that we listen, the more clear it is of what we need to resolve within ourselves. And most of it, in this country in particular, is about following the system, because that's how they want to control the masses, and they have very, very much for a very long time.
Yeah. And if you think about that divine woman, the woman aspect, she has been punished for many, many, many generations. She has been in pain. I mean, there is so many things that happens about that woman aspect. And in so many places everywhere in the world. And now the one that created you is asking you to stand up. It is asking you to bring your power back. That it is not the outside world that defines you. That it is not that place that they put you in. That it is much more of what you need to do. Because once you begin to enlighten your mind and give that power to that mind of yours to be able to stand up in the truth, everything changes. Everything has to do with that power within yourself, not about the system, not about how the system really put you into it, And yes, you're going to be under attack. Think about Nikola Tesla. Think about so many people that brought so amazing creators and that it was about the liberation of the world too. Authentic creators that they were so embedded in their inner world that they were able to create something different. And yeah, it didn't went well. It didn't went well for the system. Yet you need to do what you need to do. And sometimes it is hard. And sometimes you do recognize that it is all these consequences, not following the rules, not following even the rules that they were not being told, and yet it was put it on you. Freedom. Freedom resides inside of you, and that is your gift. That is your power. A power that it is being ignited by the original creator. So when you don't follow the rules, even when you are against a system or against even your family, what about that?
Yes.
We were observing how families, it can be a very tricky situation because, you're supposed to follow them as a woman. And then when you say, no, I don't think so, of course you're being punished by your own family and you feel bad about it. And everything, nobody told you in the very beginning, you need to be autosufficient of love because you are love. It's not about loving yourself. It is about recognizing yourself that you're love. Then you're not a beggar of love. Being the beggar of love, it makes you mediocrity mind.
Very much. Very much.
We were talking about how that, and I'm putting this in quotes, the support group binds you into a different rules sometimes, unless they ask you, what do you think? What do you want? And I will support you whatever you want. Because whatever that is, in that authentic creator is for the highest good of everyone. It's implicit. The original creators are holding hands with the source. But the woman aspect, that part in you, it needs to be standing and saying, okay, enough is enough. I need to create something that it is telling me deep inside of me that that's how it goes. My connection is so unique that it has nothing to do with religions or traditions or family or the system or any of that. It has to do with the power within myself that I'm able to listen to the one that created me and follow through, not just listen. What do you feel, Christina?
Yeah, that's true. We were talking about family, and even family that's not biological that is in your support circle. You make a major decision or change in direction in your life, and you immediately can tell who is in and who's not. And to be told whatever, if I agree or don't agree with what you're doing, I love you and I'm here for you. You let me know what you need. And you know that, and you know those people, or you don't have any of that, which would be unfortunate. But we're told, family's everything. And so they create this almost visceral structure that you feel that you have to be aligned with all the time. Well, no, you don't listen to that. You listen to you inside of you. That's where you need to follow. But you have to always be aware that what you're going to say or do may not be what's accepted by anyone else or everyone else. And it shouldn't matter at this point. But it does take the courage. We talked about that. I was laughing with Ma this morning because I said sometimes I like the chaos that's created, that I have created, because I know that I'm moving, that I'm actually creating something different and it's shaking things up. And it's like, okay, I'm actually doing something for myself in a powerful way because it's creating the repercussions of what I'm doing.
Yeah. When I think about Don Quixote de la Mancha, it really helped me. That line, it really has helped me all my life about it. Here is Sancho Panza saying to Don Quixote, "The dogs are barking," and Don Quixote answered, "It's because we're walking." And in that simple way, yeah, if the dogs are not barking, means you're stuck.
Yeah, there's no movement, huh?
There is movement. There is nothing, about it. And I mean, family, it's beautiful. I love my parents. I love every single part of it or whatever it is in there. And I remember, oh my gosh, I have been always absolutely rebellious because I will question every single rule that they have. I will question every single rule in the schools or the church or the people since very, very early age. And it wasn't pretty, but I want you to think that many, many beautiful people everywhere in the world have already paved that path for you.
Yes.
The original creator, the one that it is able to think by yourself and have the guts to do it, have the guts to say it, have the guts to actually live in that truth. And that is the real help for your family. You want to create original creators. You want to support the original creators, the ones that they are able to stand up for themselves. And, when you think about that and you're not being supported maybe by your culture or your tribe, in my case, or what is it? You do understand that your biggest support, it is deep inside of you and you feel that incredible force. Nowadays, all this assistance that it is absolutely everywhere, it is assisting the original creator, not the perpetuator of the mediocrity mind. What do you feel about that, Christine?
Yes, and you can feel within yourself, and then if you can feel that authenticity within yourself, the real you can recognize that in others too. And when you, like I was bringing out the different people that have inspired and provided us with a way or to show us what they've done. And it might have been difficult, yes, but they were very brave and steadfast in what they were going to do. And you can recognize that in everyone and all the time. Now, whether you you see them acting on it or living it is a different story, but you realize and you can see it within everyone around you, that authenticity that they bring forward. And it's such a celebration within your family, friends, when you see someone stepping out and going, no, this isn't the way I'm going to follow, this isn't it. That's a real celebration, because what I think we're doing is celebrating within ourselves that same thing, that same original vibration that we have.
I think it's so powerful to even comprehend what is that beautiful original creator, and how human beings have this incredible ability to understand that unique connection that you have with the one that created you. No one can connect you. It is your decision. Free will. It is only to the original creator. Only. The rest of it, it's an illusion because you think that you would just perpetuate the patriarchal system. You're thinking about that free will, and it is not. You're just following whatever they ask you to follow, whatever you're supposed to want or like, whatever in every single level of consciousness. What is it deep inside? That you're doing something because that's what you see, they train you to choose instead of that uniqueness. So it's not about the technique. Technique is part of that Melway. I mean, I'm not against the technique. Techniques are beautiful. In every culture, you're being provided by different techniques. But what is it deep inside of you? You know, we were talking about, oh my gosh, so much of the perpetuation of a patriarchal system and how it's being minimized instead of finding that incredible liberation within yourself. What is it? We were talking about so many places everywhere in the world that they did perpetuate or hold on into all these ancient ways about the original creator. And people once, I just want the aspirin. Don't tell me how to build it. Give me the power, empower me. And we're not here to empower anybody, but to tell them, where is your power? Because then that depends on you, and that's liberating. And that has been such a big, big deal, especially in this culture. Because people likes to just tell me what it is about me, and everything is about me. Mediocrity mind, instead of, oh my gosh, where do this is coming from? What is that part within yourself that it is able to touch that connection, listen, and follow through? There is so much of that, Christine. I have seen it many times. People thinking, oh, this is how I think, and there is all these beautiful ideas. But at the bottom line is, can you make it true and live by that truth? Or you're going to keep on pretending that you're there.
Which is very empty.
It's very empty because they don't want to make any change in their lives. They are afraid of breaking those rules, thinking it's enough to think about this. But yet, how do you make it true? Especially women, there is a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
Well, I was just thinking about all that, the whole idea of when you look within yourself, what's holding you back from this liberation, this freedom. And it's, we talked a little bit about, the personality, and I know Ma's brought that forward before about that. That's kind of where, well, not kind of, but it is where the work is. So, tapping into what is holding me back. Let me put my finger on this. There's this and there's that, and why don't I want to just do this because it feels free to me, but I can't. There's a lot of spiritual evolution going, or situations going out in the world that they talk about self-empowerment always. And self-empowerment is a beautiful thing, and that's what we're talking about. But you have to know exactly what you're getting to, like within yourself. There's so much involved in that, and there's a lot of clearing away that needs to happen. There's a lot of collateral in there that just doesn't make sense or doesn't have any purpose for you, but you do it because you've been trained that way, because you've accepted it, because the older you get, the less that makes sense to you. that's sometimes where the elders like were like, this is nonsense, and in feeling that as a woman, especially because we've been told how to look, how to walk, how to dress, how to be beautiful, how to be whatever. And it's all about the outside world. It's not about the inner world at all. I think women are starting to realize, and I'm hoping this is true in the masses, that they're starting to connect with them in the truest sense. And then change that from within. It's also going to change it in the outer. And that's the holding the hands.
Absolutely. And it is true that at the moment that you bring a truth and you want to follow truth, you're going to create chaos.
Mm.
Everyone that has been in this planet that bring changes, it is chaotic.
Mm.
Yet that chaos is the one that it helps you to go to the next step of the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the time to have the convenient thing. This word is kind of a bad word for a human being. That's mediocrity mind. It is not the time to follow orders. It's not the time to comply to everyone.
Yeah.
It is not the time to be complicit constantly.
Yep.
Or to be in silence, thinking that that's the way of having peace.
That's
a biggie.
Yeah.
Especially, you hear it so many times, and especially in women. It is the time for you to stand up and say, enough is enough, and here is my thinking. And it is beautiful, and I am not going to contribute to this. Mediocrity mind has been in this planet for a very, very long, long time. Because hurting the women, that's what it goes. One of the things that I think about this beautiful original creator, that it is absolutely powerful. You awake all these senses much more deeper. You awake those new skills that it has been not new. It has always been inside of the human being because you are the children of God. You awake this amazing power that you are able to understand a higher truth, a higher culture, because the original creator respect every single culture everywhere in the world, every single person, because he and she has so much respect to herself. That respect to yourself starts with you. How can you see yourself in the mirror? That's how the ancestors put it. You do need to follow through what you think instead of just thinking about it and then being so afraid of the system when you say, no, I don't think so. Because it is really not dictated by the system. It is dictated by your heart. It is not the system what defines you, but it is the one that created you, the one who made you. You have the great mother inside of you. You have Father, Mother, God inside of you. There is nothing that can control such a force. It is the personality, the one that accepts that control, and it is the time to change. It is the time to stand up, because that original creator, it is so completely spirited. And you just laugh. Completely spirited, saying nothing can bound you into something. And there has been so many that have inspired me. Oh my gosh. such an amazing beings that has been in this beautiful planet, men and women. But the men that they have been standing up as authentic creator, they have this incredible feminine side that give them the power to say and do and think in a different way. Now listen, this is the time. What do you feel? You want to
Yeah,
say
I was
something?
going to say, yeah, this is the time. And it's like, Ma brought up some words that I was thinking about. If you're thinking, oh, comfort, if you're thinking security, if you're thinking convenience, if you're thinking all those things, that is the mediocre mind. Those are the things that hook you, that keep you from not doing what we're just talking about. Don't you want to know who you truly are? Don't you want to tap into that? We've talked about all these beautiful beings that have been on this planet and what they've shown us, and they are not unique except that they followed that. You have that in you.
Freedom is you. And as you go into that beautiful adventure of knowing yourself, it really creates and recreates this freedom that you have always been. I want to tell you that we do have a school online that you can register. And we have so many tools that it can help you to find yourself. In many ways, no matter what is your culture, there is only one knowledge. We have an app that I love so much, Messages from the Great Mother, that today was all about truth. A message that the mother wants you to know that she's always with you. And it is the time for the realization of the self. For that, we do need to comprehend what is the self. And that has to do with freedom and removing the mediocrity mind. I love you. Thank you for your work. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Mom.
I am you. Tlatzocomate, tlatzocomate, tlatzocomate.